What's going on, Alabama fans? Ricky Green here for Tide Talk Sports on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube, presented by Chat Sports. On today's episode of Tide Talk, we're going to look at two young men from the state of Louisiana that I believe will be soon committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. You're not going to want to miss a single minute of today's episode or either of these two predictions, so stick around, Alabama fans. This should be a good one. All right, like I mentioned in today's introduction, we are talking recruiting for the 2021 class for the University of Alabama. Before I get too awful deep off into all that, though, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I need you to hit that for me right now. We are so close to reaching our goal of having 1,000 subscribers here on our channel. I can smell it. We can get there today if you guys and gals will take just a second and hit that subscribe button for me right now. All right, the first guy that we want to look at today from the state of Louisiana that I believe 100% will commit this upcoming Saturday to the University of Alabama is the #1 safety prospect in the entire nation, according to the 247 Sports composite rankings. Sage Ryan, in my opinion, this Saturday will commit to Alabama. Now, Sage was long considered an LSU lock. #1 safety, DBU, over in Louisiana, right? Duh, he'll go to LSU. Wrong. Nick Saban and his staff have done a tremendous job in this recruitment, and I'm telling you all right now, my prediction, official prediction, is that this upcoming Saturday we will see Sage Ryan commit to the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, if you believe that Nick Saban can go into the Bayou State and pull out the top 2 players in the entire state and bring them back to Alabama, I need you to hit that like button for me right now. If you think Nick Saban can get the top 2 players out of the state of Louisiana, right out from under Ed Orgeron's nose, hit that like button for me right now. Moving right along in today's episode, I want to talk to you all about a second guy. That's right, another top talent from the swamp, the Bayou State. We're talking about Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver, been in communication with Julio Jones, and that is very, very fitting because Brian Thomas Jr. in and of himself is a very Julio Jones-esque type wide receiver. So, not going to ramble on too much longer about Brian Thomas Jr., but I will give you the prediction right now. I'm predicting that Brian Thomas Jr. will also end up committing to the University of Alabama, giving Nick Saban solid commitments from the 2 best players in the entire state of Louisiana. Cannot stress enough what an incredible job this Alabama football coaching staff has done out on the recruiting trail. And I think that they are setting up Nick Saban with enough talent to keep this dynasty rolling for several more years. And I really don't have any doubts about that at this point. That leads me into today's question for our viewers. How many more national championships do you believe Nick Saban will win for the University of Alabama before he decides to retire and ride off into the sunset? Get in the comment section right now and let me know how many more national championships do you think Nick Saban will win for Alabama. All right, today's episode, quick hitter, not trying to drag it out and keep everybody here too awful long. Did want to give you those 2 predictions though. Sage Ryan and Brian Thomas Jr. will both, in my opinion, wind up in crimson and white on Saturdays in the fall for the next 3 to 4 years. And that is huge news for Alabama fans. And at this point, LSU fans have got to be feeling like, what is going on? What a ride from going from the top of the college football world, national championship winners, and having everything seeming to be going in the right direction, to losing the top talent in state to Nick Saban in Alabama, losing games on Saturday. What a dramatic and unfortunate turnaround it has been for LSU. But we, the Alabama Crimson Tide, have benefited from it tremendously. And I couldn't be any more excited about that. One more time before we wrap up today's show, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, go ahead and hit that for me right now and help us push right over the edge and break our goal of having 1,000 subscribers here on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube, presented by Chat Sports. I'm Ricky Green for Tide Talk Sports, and we'll see you next time. Roll Tide.